Hello, everyone, and welcome to Over 40 Living Epic Lives Facebook group. Thank you so much for being here. And for those of you who are catching us right now, let us know if you're watching live or on replay, And if you will, let us know where you're coming in from. We have people watching from all over the United States and internationally, and even our guest is coming in from the UK. So let me start by sharing my screen. I have some slides to show you. All right, again, welcome everyone to Over 40 Living Epic Lives. This is our Fresh Start Summer Series with Cheryl and friends. We have all these amazing speakers lined up for you, and today we have Bianca Riemer. You're going to love what she has to say. So, in addition to what I was saying a moment ago, so all these different experts are featured in TV and media, and they all have these amazing stories of things that they have overcome, and you're going to absolutely love their transformation stories that led them to the careers that they have today. And this series goes all the way up to the end of summer, so make sure you keep checking in right here inside this group. So for those of you who have not met me yet, some of you are new to me. My name is Cheryl, and I'd like to tell you how this group got started and what this theme is all about. I am an author, speaker, mindset coach, and aerialist, and I am 53 years young. I have been a producer and host of a mind and body fitness TV show, founder of a 7-time award-winning boot camp, and founder of a wellness company. Throughout my life, I have endured everything from mental and physical abuse to being diagnosed with advanced arthritis. And then you see me over here, that's when I started aerial. So I did that after being diagnosed with advanced arthritis and told I needed both knees replaced. I also lost my career and long-term boyfriend and more. Starting over in my 50s was one of the most unexpected challenges I've ever endured. And ironically, it has proven to be the best thing to ever happen to me. I specialize in helping women and entrepreneurs over 40 discover where their blocks are, how to rewrite their story, and create the life of their dreams. The methodologies I teach are the very techniques I use to transform my life from feeling like my best years were over to finding my light, writing a book, starting 2 new businesses, and attracting the man of my dreams and more. What's my point in telling you this? It's because it's never too late to have your epic encore. And do you know someone who would benefit by being in this group? Take a moment to invite them today. We have exclusive interviews like this one here, mindset hacks. It's a very supportive community. We have people who are thriving and want more out of life. And especially this is a group for those who believe it's never too late for an epic encore. All right, so today we have Bianca Riemer. She's going to show us the top tips, 3 top tips for turning skeptical people into clients and customers. Bianca is a leadership coach and sales trainer, a former multi-award-winning equity analyst at Morgan Stanley, and author of the international bestseller, When Women Heal. All right, so if you will, throughout this talk, please let us know if you're watching live or on replay, and drop a comment down below. Let us know one takeaway, something that's really resonating with you. It lets us know that these talks that we're bringing to you are of value and you're truly enjoying it. All right, so Bianca, go ahead and come on out.
Hi there. Thank you for the lovely introduction, Cheryl. I'm so happy to be here.
Oh, you're so welcome. We're so happy to have you here as well. So please, if you will, let's kick this off with you telling us your name, and then tell us something about yourself. Tell us what you do.
Yes, so my name's Bianca, and I'm really passionate about helping professional women get more impact without burning out. Mm-hmm. So my story is that I completely burned out when I was at Morgan Stanley because I was trying to fit in. I was trying to be like all the guys, right? From the very beginning, I felt like I didn't fit in and that I had to prove myself, and that I had to be like everybody else, but better, right? Because I wasn't a white male like everybody else. I hadn't been to all the elite schools. And also I didn't have a posh British accent because I was actually from Germany, and everybody pointed that out to me all the time. I said like, oh, who let you in, right? The people who we lose to in the soccer games. I ended up working myself into the ground until I realized that I didn't have to be like everybody else in order to be successful. And when I really realized that I needed to value myself for who I am and for what I can bring to the table that's different, that's when everything changed. So when I did things my way, which was a lot easier for me and which would have been really hard for other people, I found that my career skyrocketed, and I managed to influence skeptical people so much better. I managed to get people on my side, even though I didn't have all the privileges that other people had. So, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. I'm really passionate about sharing some of these strategies that help me be, go from outcast to overperformers. So I got voted number 5 out of 250 analysts in Europe, despite being on maternity break. So if that's not a sign that, this works, what I'm going to talk about, then I don't know what.
Yes. Can you state that one more time, just so everyone can let that sink in? Say that one more time.
So whilst I was on maternity break, and here in Europe, let me tell you, we get 9 months.
Really?
I was gone out of the market for 9 months. Now in equity research, the stock market, stock broking, it's a sin to even be out of the office for 1 day because you might miss something, right? It's really fast, it's cutthroat, it's super competitive. I was gone for 9 months and everybody told me, girl, your career is over if you take a break. I was gone for 9 months. I made a few phone calls. I wrote some really polarizing research. I made some videos and some out of the box stuff too that nobody else was doing at the time. And my target was to call other people, but I didn't even have to call other people. People were calling me because of the connections that I had built, because I was asking all the questions on calls that nobody else wanted to ask. So basically, for being unique, for being different, people really loved that, even in finance.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Yes. I love this. I know this is really going to resonate with everyone in this group. And let's just say, I want to tell you a few hellos. Summer is coming in from Salt Lake City, Utah. And Holly is with us as well. Kim Basler is here just outside of Toronto, Canada. And everyone is just saying hello and they're enjoying it so far. Okay. So when it comes to, all right, so these are obviously different times we're living in. So things are unpredictable. We need to find new ways to get customers. We live in an age where we can research and we can Google just about everything. And sometimes information overload can make people skeptical, like they just don't know which way to go. So today, you're going to help us figure out how to get that first client and how to get that meeting, right? And I know sometimes in life, we can talk ourselves out of something. So I can't wait to hear if you were able to negotiate the things that you have, you just told us, and you were able to be there in the men's world and not have all the connections that everyone else had. I know you've got something really good up your sleeve that you're going to share. So take it away.
Thank you, Cheryl. I'm really excited to share these tips with you today because this is something that took me years to figure out, but I don't want other people to, have to spend years to start using these strategies. So these strategies that I'm going to tell you about today, they work and you'll be able to implement them straight away today with your spouse, with your children, with other family members, and also in your business. So why don't we get started? Yes. Skeptics can actually be a really great thing for your business. And here's why. So a skeptical person will usually be skeptical, not just towards you, but also towards everybody else in your industry. Right? And that's a good thing, because once you have invested your energy into this person and won them over to be one of your clients, they're more likely to stick with you because they'll still be skeptical towards all your competitors. Whereas on the other hand, very enthusiastic person who's not very skeptical, they may sign up with you for one of your lower end offers, but then 2 weeks later, they're not turning up to speak to you anymore if you're a coach, or they cancel the contract because, hey, they found another new shiny object, another new person, service provider or product provider that they're going to work with. So skeptical people, it takes a bit longer to get them to sign up with you or to collaborate with you. But once you've won them over, they're more likely to stick with you because they're also skeptical towards other people. Yeah. So Cheryl, do you want me to carry on?
Yes. And sorry, I had a little technical glitch there for a second. Yes, keep going. Thank you.
Okay. So my top 3 tips then. So the first tip is that when you speak to a skeptical person, is to avoid being over enthusiastic. And this may sound completely counterintuitive because, hey, if I'm selling something, if I'm excited about something, why shouldn't I be super enthusiastic about this thing, right? Because my energy is hopefully going to rub off on the other person and they're going to love it too. But here's the thing to know about skeptical people. A person will be skeptical because they have already tried something similar before and it hasn't worked for them. So they don't want to make the same mistake again, right? The reason why they signed up to something similar before is probably because the other person who was selling them the thing was very enthusiastic. And they don't want to, right, be pulled into another similar thing by somebody who's very enthusiastic. So they have made the decision either consciously or subconsciously that this time I'm going to make the decision. I'm not going to allow anybody else to decide on my behalf. So the problem with enthusiasm is that when somebody's being very enthusiastic, it's as if they've already made the decision for you. It's like when somebody tells you, hey, you got to read my book, When Women Heal. It's the best book ever. It has amazing stories and I'm sure you're going to love them, right? You go and read the book and then maybe you're going to have really high expectations and find that it's not really what you were looking for.
Yes, I love that.
Right?
Yes.
It's happened with me so many times with creams for my little boy who's got eczema. Other people, it's always the latest wonder cream that's going to magically cure his eczema, but sadly none of them have worked. So the next person who tells me about the latest amazing product, I'm going to be quite skeptical and probably right, I was just stick to the product that I'm already using. Whereas somebody talks to me in my words, which I'm going to tell you about in a minute, I might be a little bit more likely to consider something that they're talking about, right? So enthusiasm, use it sparingly, let the other person decide. So that's really important to remember about skeptical people, is that they have tried something similar in the past. It hasn't worked for them, so they want to make their own decision this time, right? So when you adopt this mindset that, hey, this person is going to decide, I'm here to help them decide, that's when the energy changes and that person is more likely to trust you because you seem to be more like on their side rather than trying to sell them something like a second-hand car salesperson.
Yeah.
That's how you say it. Yes. So instead of being enthusiastic, switch into a more what I call credible style when you're making your point. So you can be enthusiastic when you meet the person, exchange some pleasantries, but when you make your point, you switch into a more serious mode. Like I like to call it the newsreader mode, where you say, hey, I suggest you try this eczema cream, or I suggest you try this. Other people have found great results in this. What do you think? All right. Yeah. So I'm going to go through the words that I'm using to try and influence this person. The first set of words to use is use suggestive language. The suggestive language is the exact opposite of command language. So command language is, hey, you got to read this book. It's the best book ever. Or got to go and watch this movie. It's the best movie ever, right? You tell a person what to do. Sometimes people even use the word should. you should read this book. I'm sure you will love it. That's command language. Definitely, I would definitely avoid that. And I'd suggest that you try using suggestive language, where you say, hey, can I make a suggestion? And the person may say yes. And if they say yes, you can say, hey, I suggest you go and check out this movie. I think you might really like it. What that does is that the person doesn't feel pressurized by you. And they're going to start wondering, oh, she said I might like it. Okay, well, I'm curious now, right? So basically what you're doing is you evoking the person's curiosity, and you're getting them to think about it, because they're not going to be receptive. A skeptical person won't be receptive to, oh, you got to do this. It's the best thing. It's like, oh no, I've heard this so many times before. They put their walls down or up, and that's the end of the discussion. So suggestive language, it's very likely to get people interested in it.
Yeah.
And then second.
So hold that thought. I just want to give you some input so far. Jay is saying hello. He's watching from the greater Chicago area. And he says, yes, too much enthusiasm at a certain point scares me away. Yeah, I love that, Jay. That's really good. And for those of you who are watching, if you will, again, let us know if you're watching live or on replay, and let us know a takeaway, something you're enjoying from what Bianca is saying. We really appreciate your input. All right, so Bianca, go ahead and take it away.
Yeah, so the second type of language to incorporate into your sentences when you're speaking to the other person is to simply ask them questions, and ideally questions around what's important to them or what they think. And what that does is that it makes them think about it, like focus on open-ended questions. It makes them think about what you just said, and then they will tell you something that is important to them or that matters to them. And then you can take the conversation further. So the most important thing for this person to try, when you try and influence this person, is definitely let go of the hard sell.
Yeah.
A skeptical person will not like the hard sell, right? When I was the junior equity analyst and I went in to speak with fund managers, people who are responsible for managing other people's money, and they all had gray hair, they were all male and born and bred in this country, gone to elite schools, right? Then this foreign girl comes in and tells them, you got to buy these stocks, they're the best stocks ever. They're gonna go, okay, meeting's over. Yes. Right? So yes. You have to go in with the mindset of I just want this person to listen to me, and I want to help them think about it, right? So I went in, I talked about these small stocks that nobody really needed to care about because they were too small to make a difference to anybody. And I went in and I told them, I think these stocks are going to multiply, but I let you decide what you think about it. And people really loved that because from the beginning, they knew that I had a strong belief that these stocks were going to perform, right? But I said, I'm not going to force you. I'm not going to try and force you to believe what I believe, right? And for a lot of people, they needed to meet me 5-6 times or get 10 or 20 of my reports before they even started thinking about it. So after like a year of talking about the story, the stock's not moving, by the way, they didn't really move very much. And these fund managers, they say, Bianca, you're still writing that these stocks are going to go up. Right? Your enthusiasm doesn't have to come through in strong language or in a lot of energy. Yeah. Your enthusiasm can also come through in just being consistent with your output. So if you're putting out a lot of content on social media, just stay consistent with what you're putting out, right? The story for my stocks was the same for the 7 or 8 years that I covered them. Hey, people are moving to Germany. They're not building enough houses for them, so property prices will go up. It was such a ridiculously simple story, but I managed to write a new report on this topic every week from a different angle, picking up something from the news. So you can do that very easily as well in whichever industry you're in. You can showcase your expertise by saying what's happening in the market, what your view is, and then you can ask a question to people. What do you think? What's your experience with this, right? That will engage a skeptical person because you're asking them their opinion. If they disagree with you, that's great, because then you know what they think and you can write something on, hey, a lot of people think XYZ. Here's my view on that. And then get them to engage, get them to think with you. And that's how you win them over time. So it's suggestive language, asking them questions and not being too enthusiastic.
Yes, I love that. And it with social media these days, we have that type of opportunity where we can get immediate input from people. We can make a post like right now and say, this is what I think. How about you? You know, this is what's going on with this situation. I think this. And so you get that immediate feedback. You can take that, turn that around, and possibly turn them into a customer. And you're right. It's even if they don't agree with you, you're going to get their side of how they feel about it. So I like that. I like that a lot. Jay says he likes these tips. They are more user friendly, so they can put them to use immediately. I love that. All right, so keep going.
That's it, basically.
Okay, awesome.
Those are the 3 tips. I can give you an extra tip if
Let's
that's
do it.
Okay. So you basically want to find out what this person's objections are. And this is especially important for women. Now, most of the people in this group are female, right? And I'll tell you a little story. When I got back from my maternity break, my colleague Chris had been looking after one of my stocks. So he'd been talking to investors about this stock. And the way to think about it is you're a salesperson, you're selling something, right? So Chris had been selling this something for the 9 months that I was gone. And then when I went back to work, we had some joint meetings with investors. And Chris made the observation, he was saying, hey, Bianca, when you pitch this stock, investors only focus on the negatives. They focus on the risks and on the weaknesses. When I pitched the stock, they asked me about a lot of the opportunities and the strengths of the company. And I thought, hey, that's interesting because, well, I was a more enthusiastic person than Chris for starters.
Yes, yeah.
I was also a lot more like aggressive. He was very mellow person, right? So I found that very interesting. And then Chris's advice to me was basically, you have to volunteer more of the strengths and opportunities with this name. Otherwise, they're not going to listen to you. That was really great advice. Now, science has since, I mean, this was 10 years ago, almost 10 years ago. Harvard Business Review has since published a study where they looked at venture capitalists and how they conduct their meetings with male and female entrepreneurs. And what Laura Huang has found, so the person at Harvard University conducting that study, is that when female entrepreneurs get asked questions predominantly about the risks and the weaknesses, whereas male entrepreneurs asking for venture capitalist funding are being asked more about the strengths and the opportunities, right? And we've all seen the stats that only a fraction of all venture capitalist funding goes to female entrepreneurs, and that they're much less likely to get funding at all. So if you are a female entrepreneur asking for funding or selling, and you notice, hey, this person's only asking me the negatives, right? Here's what I would suggest. I suggest that you shortly answer the question about the weaknesses and the risks, right? And then volunteer and answer, bringing their focus back on the opportunities and the strengths of this thing, so that your chances of getting what you want are increased.
Yes. Oh, I love that. Such great knowledge. Great knowledge. Thank you so much, Bianca. Everyone who's watching, again, let us know if you're watching live or on replay, and let us know one takeaway, something you're really enjoying from this talk. I hope each and every one of you are really going to take this to heart, the information she's sharing. Jay says, my takeaway from this interview is to be consistent, Oh, is to be consistent does more than exhibiting high energy intermittently. And Jay also says, thank you, Bianca, for sharing your time and knowledge. Thank you, Jay. We really appreciate that. All right, so I'm going to go and share my screen one more time and show everyone how they can get in touch with you. And Bianca, when we come back, you can give us any last closing statements. All right, so thank you so much, Bianca, for being here today. We really appreciate you being here. You have dropped some really amazing knowledge bombs on us. And for those of you who'd like to learn more about Bianca, go to biancariemer.com. This is her address right here. I'm going to put this website address in the comments if you happen to forget this right here. And for those of you who are watching this series throughout the summer, if ever you miss the link for the guest, just go to cherylbroughton.com/guest, and you will see the list of all the guests and how you can get in touch with each person. And for those of you who would like a copy of Your Epic Encore, my book, you can go to cherylbroughton.com, or you can go to Amazon, where you can get the print or the digital version. So everyone, thank you so much for watching. If you will, let us know one last takeaway, something you really enjoyed from today's talk. All right, so are there any last statements you would like to share with us?
Yes. So when you meet a skeptical person next time, the way to notice that they're skeptical is that they'll probably be leaning back with, leaning back body language, looking around, most likely down. And the way to speak to them is to not try and be too enthusiastic, and to instead use suggestive language and ask them questions about what they think. So my recommendation would be to try out these tips and see whether you like them.
Awesome. I love that. I love that. And I forgot to mention your book on the back shelf, When Women Heal. Do you want to say something short about that?
Yes. So When Women Heal, I wrote a chapter in that book, and it's all about my own healing journey of when I experienced burnout at Morgan Stanley. They say that you can't heal in the environment that makes you sick.
Ooh.
But it's important to know what the environment is that made you sick, because here's the thing, it was not the environment at Morgan Stanley that made me sick. The environment that made me sick was my own childhood, where I acquired beliefs about myself based on how my parents treated me. So I had an absent mother and I had an alcoholic father who chased me out of the house with a rifle at the age of 16, and whose life I later saved when I found him collapsed in the snow. Now, my childhood with these parents gave me beliefs about myself that I wasn't good enough and that I had to work hard to make it, right? And it was only when I really did the healing work after my breakdown at Morgan Stanley that I realized that in order for others to value me, I needed to start valuing myself. Once I did the inner work and started valuing myself, everything changed, and other people valued me too. They valued me for who I really was, which is that quirky German girl who makes crazy videos and who's on the front page of the national news with a shocking topic, right?
Yes.
There you go. That's what I write about in the book. So the healing when healing happens, your life changes for the better.
You are singing my song on that, and that was so good. Maybe we could have you back and talk about the healing process, because right now is a time where all of us could use some help in the healing category with all the different things that are going on in this world. So thank you so much for sharing that part of your story with us. Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me in this amazing group, Cheryl.
Yes, yes. Oh, and where can we find When Women Heal? Is that on your website as well?
It's on Amazon.
Amazon. Okay, awesome.
Yes.
When Women Heal. Very good.
Yes, it was also a bestseller in 11 categories here in the UK, and it was also a best-selling new release over in the US as well. So we're now being stocked in Waterstones bookstores as well over here in the UK.
Awesome.
Exciting. Yes.
Wow, that is wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much. So everyone, please check the comments. I'll put her contact information there. And again, for those of you watching on live or on replay, let us know, and let us know one more takeaway. And for everyone watching, I always like to sign off this way. Never, ever forget, it's never too late for your epic encore. Have a great day, everyone. Have a great weekend. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.